Oh my god! It's so loud! What is that? I'll tell you what this is. This is a Kailh Box Jade. And we're going to be using these today to build ourselves a nice little clicky board. I don't have any experience with clicky boards. I have tried several clicky switches and I wasn't really a big fan of them. But my daughter loves her clicky board and I want to try to give it a shot for myself. So we went through a clicky sampler and we found these box jades. I was more of a fan of the crystal jades, but she liked these regular jades. So I ordered these for her and decided to use them for myself, but gonna order another batch for her as well. So today let's talk about the build that we're going to do. Today we're going to be showcasing the Epomaker TH80. So let me go ahead and set this guy aside. We'll pull this over here. Once again, this is another lackluster unboxing experience. This is the box that we get for the Epomaker TH80. Now this comes in a barebones kit. You can get it in white or black. You can also get it pre-built. It's a little bit on the mid side, if you will. These particular boards are very much like the Keyb's NJ80, and honestly they're a substantially cheaper option. They're about half the price. But let's go ahead and get into it. So again, nondescript white box. And we open this bad boy up. We got some plastic wrap. Take that, set it aside. And inside this box, we've got, oh, that's nice. We do get some pretty decent extras here, though. Fairly nice braided USB-C cable. So that's cool. And we also get one of those nice keycap and switch pullers. I actually kind of like these. They're pretty nice. I mean, they're not, I don't feel like they're as sturdy as the individual ones, but you know, these are nice to have because they take up less space. So let's go ahead and set that aside. And we'll take this out of the box, or bag rather. And this is the Epomaker TH80. So has some heft to it. It should. It's got a brass plate, or it's supposed to have a brass plate, but they don't look like a brass plate. So not sure what's going on here, but anyway, again, I haven't gotten into this board at all. This is an unboxing experience for myself as well. What you do get for the mid $60 range, though, is you do get south-facing LEDs, which is nice. You do get some what seem to be fairly decent plate mount stabs. They do look like they're going to require some band-aid modding to really get tight in those slots. Get a nice little gold colored knob, and then you're supposed to have this in here. Okay, I guess that works. I guess it fell out during shipping or something. I don't know. Looking at this, it is a bit of a cream color. It's almost like a pinky color. I'm actually going to revisit this, and we're going to do a mod video on this later. Just depends what we're going to do with that, whether or not we're going to keep the jades or not. This is an exploded 75% layout. They've done something a little bit different with the sides over here. And then the arrow keys are not fully exploded. So I did not realize that when I got it, but it'll do. We'll make it work. So let's go ahead and tear into this. That knob came off real easy. I will say that these knobs are pretty nice. This is very similar to the Key's knob. I mean, it's just seems like it's straight metal through and through. Pretty nice knob, to be honest. A little loose. Would have been nice if it was one of those ones with like a locking nut or whatever. But we'll set that aside. And it looks like if we go to the back here, that this is going to be one of those weird things where we're going to possibly need a spudger. Now, I'm just realizing I just deviated from the typical setup. I want to talk about what we're going to top these with, but we'll just get to that when we get to it. So let's take a look at the board, and then what we're going to top it with is a little bit of a surprise because it's going to be a first time for me as well. So let's see if we can get this apart with just our fingers. I'm going to go with no. I'm also noticing that there are screws on the inside here. Kind of hard to pick up, but there are screws down in there. So let's go ahead and take those out for good measure, just in case we need to. I'm going to use our same old handy dandy screwdriver kit. I'll try to remember to link that into the description. This is also nice too, you get these flip up risers, so if you are the kind of person like myself that enjoys a steeper typing angle most of the time, that is always a bonus to me. It gives a cheap feel to the board because, you know, a lot of budget off the shelf keyboards, they have that. I swear to God, there better not be anything under the feet. But anyway, that's kind of a nice feature because then you don't have to spend any extra money to get that elevation if that's what you're wanting. So take a couple of different spudgers and pry tools here and see what we can't make happen. Awesome. All right, so the whole top piece comes off like we'd expect. It's kind of a bit of a weirdo design. Oh, what in the heck? That's new. There's like a USB port in the middle of it. I'm assuming that's for updating the firmware or something. I have no idea. That's really weird. Anyway, let's set this aside. Okay, let's see if it flops right out. Okay, it does. So the screws, I guess, went into the top. Yeah, they go into the screws that are in the back go into the top here. So see that there, and then right there. It is gasket mounted, if you can call it that. There are gaskets there. Whether they actually do anything or not, that's kind of to be determined. It doesn't look like this is going to be a board with very much flex. Got our little switch here, and then, as per usual, take and pry off our JST a little on either side to get it loose, and then pop it out. So inside the case, oh, I'm an idiot. That was the I left the wireless adapter inside of it. All right, so so it does look like we've got EVA foam that's included here, which is always nice because that's less that you've got to provide. It does have some cutouts for the case, but no cutouts for the actual hot swap sockets. It does look like you get what claims to be a 2200 milliamp hour battery, which is nice. Should give you a good couple days of use without having to recharge. There are the little gaskets here, so let's take a look at the plate here and see how it actually sits. So it sits in there like that. So these little gaskets appear, so they're not pour-on, they're very much rubberized. They do kind of sort of sit up above the plastic, so there's that. So it is gasket, but it's not going to be like a soft gasket feel. I don't think you're going to get any real gasket feel from this at all, if I'm honest. So that's the case. Pretty straightforward. Very different application of the typical budget gasket that I'm used to with like the Fecker, the NT75. Okay. Maybe the brass plates only come on the Prebuilts, because I'm totally not getting a brass plate vibe from this. Although it could be painted, I'm not sure. I'm gonna do something just for experimental purposes. Don't hate me for this, but I kinda need to know. It's important to me. I think you might know what I'm thinking. All right. I feel so lied to. So I don't know if I can get enough light on this to show you. But that very much doesn't appear to, well, I don't know if that's just reflections or not. It looks silver to my eye. So I'm thinking aluminum or steel. The heft of it says steel, which is still an okay plate. I was really looking forward to working with brass. I'm gonna go with steel, but there is a possibility that it could be brass and I'm just goofing. But there you go. That's pretty much it. We're not gonna do, because we're doing a clicky build on this, we're not going to do any modifications to it. In fact, I'm going to remove the EVA, so we're just gonna yeet that. Of course, you can't see me yeeting it, but I did. And then we're going to put everything back together, and then we're gonna throw those switches on it. So, and they are using, God, I'm blind. I can't tell what hot swaps they're using, but it is a hot swap board. Still haven't quite figured out how ESD looks and how to identify the SOCs. But I promise, one day we'll get to that and I'll educate myself for you guys. Probably not even going to do anything with the stabs. They do have a little bit... Let's see if I can get this in focus. So they do have a little bit of lubricant in them. So hoping that they're going to be okay. But we shall see. And I'm realizing that I forgot to plug my other light in, so it died. Okay, sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulty there, but we appear to be back in business. So I'm gonna put this guy back together. Well, hopefully that still works. I want to point out one thing on this. I'm not happy with this. I set this board down for a moment on the dip switch, and the dip switch is not through hole. It seems to be some sort of weird surface mount. And when I set it down, it kind of bent it. So when you're building this, be mega careful with it. Yeah, it all went back together okay. I will not be reusing these screws. I don't see any reason to screw into the plate when we're trying to gasket mount. I mean, it screws into the top rather, but it just seems kind of pointless. This should not have an issue going on and staying on. That actually went on pretty good. Snapped everything back together good and tight. So like I said, I don't think there's really going to be, there's no flex at all. There's just no flex, as expected. All right, so let's go ahead and set some of this junk aside, and let's take a look at what we're going to be working with today. Today we've got our box of jades from Dank Keebs. So we're going to start on this guy, get these all wrapped up, and then I want to reveal the awesome keycaps that I have for this project. And I don't even know if they're going to look good on it, but we're going to take a look at them. So let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, there you have it. That actually looks pretty good, kind of nice. I do have some things to say about that though. So they're in there, but I don't know if you could tell, but I was struggling pretty good with trying to get these into the sockets. The plate wasn't lining up specific, great. The fitment was really tight on these box jades. It seemed like a lot, probably a good 30% of the hot swap sockets were slightly angled. I'm not sure. Like I was checking the pins and they look square, but when I would put them in, they wouldn't line up with the sockets, and I actually ended up having to bend one of the pins back slightly in order for it to slide into the socket. So that's very concerning. As far as the fit and finish, I mean, now that it's together, it kind of has a really unique look to it. Maybe not unique, but it looks pretty good. But yeah, that was probably the worst experience that I had putting in switches in any board ever. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to top this with. So, cool board and all, but let us see the icing on the cake. Now, I've had these keycaps for several months now, and I just have not been able to find a board to put them on. And it's the main reason why I bought this. I mean, not only for my 75% collection, but because I needed something to put these on. These are MT3 Dev TTY Triumph version. So they were out of the regular TTY, but then when I looked, I probably would have bought the Triumphs anyway. So let's go ahead and pull these guys out. I think this is an absolutely beautiful set that has a very retro look, but is also kind of modern. So set that aside. Come in these nice little trays. I got these from Drop during a BOGO, where I also picked up MT3 Jukebox, which I absolutely cannot find a single board to go with, but that's another problem for another day. But I mean, they're very, very well packaged. I mean, would you look at this colorway? It's like gray with a teal or aquamarine. I don't know what the hell color that is. But very, very cool. Really excited for this. So let's go ahead and get our board topped with these guys. Well, there you have it. There's your keycaps. The red accents would have been fine. I probably should have used them. Pop our piece de resistance on. I don't know. That's actually pretty nice, man. I think I like the way it turned out. Looks pretty good. the clicky is kind of intense. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at a sound test. All right, I thought that came out pretty good. I really like how obnoxious this is. This is crazy obnoxious. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. I like the combination a lot. So let's talk about the elephant in the room here. This looks beautiful. This is awesome. I'm happy to display this on my shelf. This is an obligatory thing, and these belong on a different board. But I would be happy to display this sort of aesthetic on my 75% exploded knob collection. It sounds good. I think it might sound a little bit better if it were brass, but let's talk about this board. So I'm on a little bit of a story time here. I ordered the first board from Amazon. It was in stock, waited 2.5 weeks. It didn't ship. I canceled the order. I went on Epomaker. I ordered the same product. I waited 1.5 weeks, still didn't ship. And when I say it didn't ship, I mean it didn't leave Epomaker. Understand that. I'm not talking about global shipping. I understand that it takes time to get products. I've been doing this for a while. The issue that I have is when a product has internal logistics issues to the point where you can't get it out the door within a few days. Anyway, canceled that order. Ordered again through AliExpress. Again, these are all supposed to be in stock. I understand that there are some logistics issues getting this right now, the TH80, mostly in the pre-built variants. But this board was supposed to be in stock. I ordered it in stock from AliExpress, and it took them nearly 2 weeks for them to drop it in the mail. Now, I got the normal AliExpress shipping, so that was fine. You know, it was like 2.5 weeks because I'm in the middle of the country. So that was fine. But all in all, it took me several months to get this to my door after originally ordering the very first one. And I chose this one over the Keycaps NJ80 because it offers everything that the NJ80 does, and it was supposed to include a brass plate. So that's something I'm going to have to look into, and if that is not the case, I will leave a comment regarding that. But needless to say, I'm a little disappointed with that. And what I'm going to tell you right now is, if you're in this budget price point, don't buy this. Buy something else. Unless for some reason you're in love with this clustered arrow cluster here and less keys on the side, you can get, if you need wired only, you can get a wired only Next Time 75, and it'll cost you about 10 bucks less than this does. If you want a wireless Next Time 75, probably cost you about $10-15 more than this. Now, those offer north-facing LEDs only, so that's kind of the bummer. But what I will tell you is that the build quality felt a little bit better. They didn't have a weird wraparound plate that kind of like went over the PCB, and even though they don't have any flex, you know, none of these budget boards really have any flex. They have most of them to feel like the GMMK Pro. But honestly, just go with that. Save yourself the headache of the shipping from Epomaker. Save yourself the headache of trying to get these into the sockets, the headache of, I don't know, it's not a recommend for me. Is it okay? Yeah, it's fine. If you bought one, great. If you want to buy one, by all means. If Epomaker is one of the only places that you can utilize, or you like this layout, I'm not a huge fan of this. And quite frankly, I'd rather have spent the extra $50 and gotten the Keyless NJ80 in a pretty blue or something like that. So, because the NJ80 does have color options now. You can also buy the NJ80 from Drop if you're in the US, and maybe get it a little bit quicker. So, I don't know, man. Like, this is kind of a hard recommend for me. I am also noticing some, QC issues here. Like, I don't know if I can showcase this very well, but it looks like the board bows down a little bit, and no amount of screws is going to fix that. So that's just kind of an oversight on their part. But I don't know. Let me know what you thought about this board. I do have one request, though. If you guys are still with me, I appreciate that. Do me a solid and hit that like button if you like the content that I'm making. And if you want to see more of this stuff and get notified when I am creating this content, click on that subscribe button and the notification bell so it lets you know when I put up new videos. And one other thing that I would really appreciate is that if you find these videos great, even if they're long format, it's not for everybody, feel free to share my videos with your friends and acquaintances. And you can timestamp them. I don't care about full watch time, but it'd be really neat if other people could check out this content and maybe gain something out of it like you are. So, but anyway, if you like that, do all that. If not, I understand. If you don't like the videos that I'm making, or you have any constructive feedback, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to adapt and change to make these videos better for you guys. But yeah, let me know what you think about this Epomaker TH80. So it's supposed to be the Epomaker Theory 80. Let me know what you think about it. What do you think about the clicky combination? What do you think about the MT3 keycaps? I think these are awesome. They're like really dished. I'm gonna have to take some time to get used to that. But these actually feel very interesting. It's a very unique type of plastic mold that they use for it. So anyway, thank you as always, everyone, for sticking with me and hanging out while we do another build video. And I look forward to doing another one for you here in the near future. I've got a really neat one coming up next week. But yeah, until next time, y'all have a good one.